In every video here on the channel, we always talk about finding gemstones while exploring nature. And most of those adventures usually happen during the day when sunlight helps reveal the natural sparkle of the stones. But what if I told you that some of the most valuable gems on the planet are actually much easier to find at night? It sounds strange at first, but it's in the darkness that certain gemstones reveal their true glow. That's because some minerals have a special property called fluorescence, which makes them shine brightly when exposed to ultraviolet light. And here's the best part. You don't need expensive equipment to see this effect. All you need is the right flashlight and a sharp eye to notice what most people completely overlook. In other words, while many believe gemstone hunting is something only professional prospectors can do, the truth is that anyone can start simply by observing their surroundings under a different kind of light. So after watching this video, you'll never look at the ground the same way again. Whether it's during the day, when the sunlight reflects off river stones, or at night when a mysterious glow reveals what only true gem hunters can recognize. That's what today's video is all about. How experienced gem hunters use the power of darkness to locate hidden deposits that most people would walk right past without even noticing. So stick with me until the end, because if you're in the right place with the right kind of light, you might just discover valuable deposits in your own region. Gems like opals, rubies, and even diamonds that could completely change your financial future. The first gemstone you can find if you're in the right place is the ruby. That's right, this gemstone is one of the most valuable in the world, often even more coveted than diamonds themselves. And the reason is simple. A high-quality ruby with deep color and good transparency can be worth thousands of dollars per carat, and in some cases, even more than a diamond of the same size. In other words, if you ever come across a genuine ruby, you might be holding a small fortune in your hands. What most people don't know is that there are very clear signs that can reveal when rubies might be present in an area, and anyone can learn to recognize them. The first tip is to look for the minerals that tend to appear alongside rubies in nature, known as indicator minerals. They act like clues, small arrows pointing the way. The most common one is spinel, a stone that can also be red and often fools beginners. The difference is that spinel has a softer, less intense shine and is usually lighter in weight. Still, finding spinel is a great sign. It means the area has the same geological conditions where rubies form. Another important indicator is mica, thin, shiny flakes that look like tiny metallic sheets between the rocks. When mica appears in the soil, especially near quartz and feldspar, it's a strong clue that you might be close to a type of rock called schist. And it's exactly in those formations that rubies are often found. If you also spot fragments of white marble, that's even better, because rubies can form where marble comes into contact with aluminum-rich rocks. In short, if you see that combination of minerals, mica, quartz, feldspar, and marble, pay attention. You're in the right place to pull out your flashlight and start searching. Here's the secret many experienced gem hunters use. At night, under ultraviolet light, rubies literally glow. They emit a strong red light that no other stone can match. It looks as if the rock has a fire burning inside it with its own inner energy. So if you're walking along a riverbed, a hillside, or a rocky terrain, and you notice a red spot glowing under your UV flashlight, stop and take a closer look. It could be a raw ruby. Sometimes it may look dull or even cloudy, nothing like the polished gems you see in jewelry stores, but once cut and cleaned, it can reach astonishing prices. To give you an idea, a good quality ruby can range from $1,000 to $20,000 per carat, depending on its color, clarity, and origin. The rarest ones, like Burmese rubies, can easily exceed $100,000 per carat once faceted. That means even a small stone, something you might easily overlook, could change your life if it's real. If you think you found one, don't try to clean or cut it yourself. Rubies are hard, but they can also have internal fractures that break easily if handled roughly. The best thing to do is to wrap the stone carefully, note exactly where you found it, and take it to a gemologist or a jewelry expert for evaluation. They'll be able to confirm if it's a genuine ruby and how much it's worth. And if you happen to find several similar pieces in the same area, that's a great sign. It could mean there's a larger deposit nearby. It's also worth paying attention to the environment. Areas with reddish soil, white quartz, and shiny mica fragments are promising spots. Rubies often appear on hillsides or along riverbanks where gravel accumulates because the moving water naturally separates and concentrates heavier minerals. Sometimes just digging a few inches into the gravel or using a simple sieve is enough to find small gemstones hiding among ordinary rocks. And if you're searching at night, make sure to use a 365 nanometer UV flashlight, the same kind used by professional geologists and collectors. It will help highlight the ruby's signature red glow, even if the stone is covered in dirt or mixed with other minerals. In other words, while everyone else is asleep, you could be out there discovering glowing stones that, once cut, could be worth more than a brand new car. So never underestimate a simple nighttime walk. Rubies leave behind subtle clues, and now that you know how to recognize them, the next time you see that deep red glow shining in the darkness, it might just be a raw ruby waiting to be discovered. But let's say you don't have a UV flashlight, just the flashlight on your phone. Well, after the intense glow of rubies, there's a completely different kind of gemstone that's just as fascinating, the opal. And the most interesting thing about it is that, unlike rubies, you don't need ultraviolet light to find it. A regular flashlight is enough to reveal the natural spectacle hidden inside this gem. Opal is famous for a unique phenomenon called opalescence, a play of colors that seems to dance under the light, shifting between shades of blue, green, orange, and red depending on the angle and brightness. In other words, just point a flashlight at it and slowly turn the stone in your hand, and you'll see this magical effect appear as if a tiny northern lights display were trapped inside it. Opals form in a completely different way from most other gemstones. They are born when water seeps through the ground, carrying dissolved silica that gradually fills small cracks, cavities, and spaces between grains of sand. When the water evaporates, the silica remains, and over time it hardens into opal. Because of this, opals are often found very close to the surface, sometimes even exposed on the ground, especially in dry regions rich in sandstone. That means you don't have to dig deep or break rocks to get lucky. In many cases, all you need to do is pay close attention to the ground, particularly after a heavy rain, when the soil gets washed and the colors of the opal become easier to spot. There are clear signs that can help you identify areas where opals might occur, and anyone can learn to recognize them. The first clue is the presence of pale, dry, porous rocks known as opalized sandstone. This type of rock is common in places that once had ancient volcanic activity, since the silica that forms opal often comes from decomposed volcanic material. Another strong sign is clay-rich soil that's cracked from heat, sometimes showing faint patches of color when you shine a light on it. In some areas, you might see dull fragments on the ground that look like pieces of milky glass, and that's exactly what rough opal often looks like before it's polished. So a good method is to walk slowly and observe the ground under a white flashlight, focusing on areas where the soil is dry and light-colored. Opal reflects light differently from other stones, almost as if it were blinking. Sometimes it's still attached to a piece of host rock, showing small windows of color that hint there's a bigger stone inside. The secret is to look from different angles, because opalescence only appears when the light hits the stone in just the right way. That's why experienced opal hunters are constantly rotating their samples, even the smallest ones, until the colors start to move. Now, how much can an opal be worth? The answer varies widely, and that's what makes this gemstone so intriguing. A common milky opal without much color play might be worth only a few dollars, but a high-quality precious opal with strong, vivid colors can reach thousands of dollars per carat. The rarest types, like black opals from Australia or fire opals from Mexico, are highly prized in the market. To give you an idea, a single stone with vivid color and good transparency can be worth as much as a ruby or sapphire of the same size. And the most incredible part is that, in many cases, these stones appear right on the surface. There are real stories of people finding opals simply by walking along dry trails, clay slopes, or old riverbeds. This happens because opals form in areas where underground water once flowed, and over time, erosion brings those silica-rich layers closer to the surface. In other words, while most people imagine you need to dig deep to find them, the real secret is in noticing the small details of the terrain. Another tip is to watch for minerals that tend to occur near opal deposits. Feldspar, quartz, and hematite are common companions, and their presence usually indicates a silica-rich environment, exactly the kind of condition where opals form. If you spot fragments of these rocks in dry, light-colored clay soil, it's a great idea to grab your flashlight and take a closer look. And if you do happen to find one, handle it carefully. Opal is fragile and sensitive to temperature changes, which can cause it to crack easily. So never try to cut or polish it yourself. The best thing to do is wrap it in a soft paper or cotton and take it to a specialist for evaluation. They'll be able to determine whether it's a common opal, a precious opal, or even a rare variety. And that makes a huge difference in its value. So if you're walking at night with nothing but your phone flashlight and suddenly notice a stone lighting up with flashes of different colors, don't ignore it. It might just be a wet rock reflecting your light, or it could be the unmistakable glow of an opal waiting to change your life. Now, going back to gemstone hunting with UV flashlights, we arrive at a stone that has become increasingly popular among gem hunters and nighttime explorers: sodalite. It's one of the most stunning stones you can find in the dark, and the reason is simple. Under ultraviolet light, it emits an intense blue glow that seems to appear out of nowhere, transforming an ordinary-looking rock into a true spectacle. Many YouTubers and field collectors have captured the exact moment they spot sodalite glowing in quarries, riverbanks, or rocky terrains, and their reaction is always the same: pure amazement. After all, it's one of the most rewarding experiences for anyone who enjoys gem hunting, because the difference between what you see with a normal flashlight and what appears under UV light is absolutely mind-blowing. During the day, sodalite can look like an ordinary grayish or bluish rock with nothing remarkable about it. But when you turn off your white flashlight and switch on a 365 nanometer UV light, it completely transforms. The stone starts to emit a deep, electric blue fluorescence that escapes through its cracks and spreads across the surface. It's one of those moments when you realize how much nature hides in plain sight. In other words, even a dull-looking stone can reveal one of the most beautiful natural effects once night falls. What makes this stone even more special is that it doesn't just glow. It also serves as an indicator of geologically rich environments where other rare gems can appear. So finding sodalite during a night search is a good sign that the area may contain other valuable stones, like blue feldspar, haween, or even lapis lazuli, which share similar characteristics. In some cases, sodalite also appears alongside fluorescent calcite, and the contrast between the blue and orange glow of these two stones under UV light creates a natural light show that feels straight out of a geology lab. Recognizing sodalite in the field isn't hard once you know what to look for. It's typically found in light-colored rocks, usually in pegmatites or sodium-rich igneous rocks. The surrounding soil often contains sandy material or small bluish fragments that have broken off through erosion. When you come across a rock with bluish or grayish veins, the best thing to do is switch off your regular light and test it with your UV flashlight. If a blue glow appears, it's almost certainly sodalite. In some old quarry sites, you can even see entire boulders covered with glowing spots that remain invisible until illuminated by the right light. The best part is that sodalite can be found in several locations, including places accessible to anyone. In the United States, there are reports of sodalite discoveries in old quarries, along glacial lake shores, and even on rocky hiking trails. Because it's a durable stone, it weathers well over time, meaning you can find it both on the surface and among gravel. In short, you don't need to be an expert or own expensive tools. Just patience, curiosity, and a good UV flashlight. Now, speaking of value, sodalite doesn't reach the price levels of rubies or precious opals, but it still holds a decent market value, especially when found in large blocks with deep, consistent color. Rough pieces can be worth anywhere from a few dollars to several hundred, depending on their size and quality. However, polished sodalite with a uniform deep blue tone can be used in jewelry and sell for much higher prices. Collectors also pay a premium for specimens with strong fluorescence, so stones that glow brightly under UV light tend to sell quickly. Still, the true value of sodalite goes far beyond money. It's the kind of stone that fascinates people because of the experience of finding it. Watching an ordinary-looking rock suddenly glow under UV light is something you never forget. That's why so many explorers say sodalite is one of the best stones for beginners getting into UV gem hunting, because the reward is instant. You don't need much practice or technical knowledge to recognize it. Once that blue glow appears, there's no mistaking it. A good tip is to look for sodalite in areas known for alkaline rocks, such as pegmatites or granite intrusions. Places where white feldspar fragments mixed with darker rocks are also promising. And if you're exploring an old quarry, pay attention to the walls and broken rock faces. Sodalite often appears inside fractures and veins. At night, all you have to do is turn off your white light, switch on your UV beam, and slowly scan the area. That bright blue glow will stand out even from several feet away. Here's another interesting fact. There's a rare variety called hackmanite that's even more surprising. It changes color when exposed to sunlight and then fades back to its original tone in the dark. This phenomenon, known as tenebrescence, means that some sodalites don't just fluoresce, they actually react to light itself. In other words, it's one of the most interactive stones out there, perfect for anyone who loves watching natural light effects in action. So if you're looking to dive into the world of fluorescent gemstones, sodalite is one of the best places to start. Easy to identify, affordable, and visually stunning. It proves that beauty doesn't always hide in rarity or price. Sometimes it's hidden in the glow of a simple blue stone waiting to shine under the right light. As impressive as all these gemstones are, what most people don't know, and this might surprise you, is that a small fraction of natural diamonds in their raw form also emit fluorescence under ultraviolet light. And the most common type of glow is blue, a soft tone that seems to come from deep within the stone, like a faint mist of light. There are rarer cases where diamonds glow yellow, orange, or even green, but those are true exceptions. Blue fluorescence is by far the most frequent, and it's what many gem hunters and collectors look for when they explore the ground at night with their UV flashlights. It's a subtle detail, but once you see it, you never forget it. This fluorescence happens because of tiny natural impurities in the diamond's atomic structure. Slight variations that make it react to UV light and emit that bluish glow. In other words, not every diamond will shine, but when it does, it's a fascinating and unmistakable sight. During the day, a rough diamond might look like a dull, cloudy pebble, translucent, whitish, and even slightly greasy to the touch. But at night, under UV light, that faint blue glow gives away its true nature. It's one of the most beautiful and mysterious ways to witness nature's perfection. The signs that an area might contain diamonds are very different from those of other gemstones, and those who learn to recognize them greatly increase their chances of success. The first step is to understand where diamonds come from. They form deep in the Earth's mantle and are brought to the surface by a type of volcanic rock called kimberlite, the true birthplace of diamonds. Over time, erosion breaks down these rocks, releasing the crystals, which are then carried by rivers and deposited in gravel beds known as alluvial deposits. This means that if you're walking along an ancient riverbed, especially in spots where the water flow slows down and gravel accumulates, you might literally be standing on ground where diamonds settled millions of years ago. Indicator minerals are another key clue. When you find garnet, diopside, ilmenite, or magnetite in the soil, your chances go up, because these minerals often appear in the same geological environments as diamonds. In simpler terms, if you spot red pebbles, garnet, black shiny grains, ilmenite, or small green crystals, diopside, pay attention. These are exactly the signs that experienced prospectors look for long before they find their first diamond. And the best part is that many of these indicators can be found right on the surface, especially after heavy rain, when the lighter sediment washes away and the heavier minerals remain exposed. In the United States, several states have documented natural diamond occurrences, including Arkansas, Colorado, Wyoming, and even parts of Alaska. The most famous example is the Crater of Diamonds State Park in Arkansas, a public park where anyone can dig, search, and, with a bit of luck, walk away with a real diamond. And believe it or not, it has happened many times. Of course, the odds are low, but not impossible. Those who understand the signs and know where to look have a real advantage. Even if discoveries are rare, The thrill of trying is part of what makes gemstone hunting so exciting. Another interesting fact is that not all diamonds found are gem-quality stones. Many are what we call industrial diamonds. Lower-grade stones that are usually opaque, irregular, or full of inclusions. Even though they're not suitable for jewelry, they still hold value because industries use them in tools, drills, and cutting equipment due to their hardness. So even if you find a diamond that doesn't look perfect, it can still be worth something. Finding any natural diamond at all, regardless of quality, is an incredibly rare and memorable achievement. Industrial diamonds form the same way as gem-quality ones and are usually found in the same regions. So if you happen to find a small, rough, low-quality diamond, that's actually a good sign. It could mean there are better quality stones nearby. Many prospectors consider these small, opaque crystals to be positive indicators that the surrounding environment is geologically promising. If you ever come across a diamond, even a small one, handle it carefully and resist the temptation to test or polish it yourself. The best thing to do is store it safely, note exactly where you found it, and take it to a certified gemologist or gem lab for analysis. They can confirm whether it's a real diamond and determine its quality, clarity, and value. Rough, transparent diamonds can sell for hundreds of dollars per carat, while gem-quality stones can be worth thousands. Industrial diamonds are less valuable, but they still have consistent demand, so they can easily be sold to the right buyer. And remember, diamonds, even small ones, are the hardest natural material on Earth. A simple way to test one is by trying to scratch it with a metal file. If the file doesn't leave a mark, that's a good sign. But be careful. There are other very hard minerals, like natural zircon and clear quartz, that can fool you. That's why the safest way to confirm what you found is always through a professional. In the end, diamond hunting is a mix of patience, knowledge, and luck. You can spend hours exploring without finding anything, and then suddenly, under your UV flashlight, a small bluish crystal begins to glow, revealing its secret. That's the moment that makes it all worthwhile. So, if you think about it, all the types of gemstones we explored here, from rubies and opals to sodalite and even diamonds, share one fascinating thing in common. They can all be found by ordinary people in completely accessible environments, often without heavy machinery or any professional mining. That shows luck definitely plays a part, but what truly makes the difference is knowledge. Knowing where to search, how to read the local geology, and how to recognize what's in your hands. That's what separates someone who picks up an interesting rock from someone who discovers a real treasure. And here's one of the questions I get asked most often. If I stumble upon a crystal in nature, how do I know if it's a diamond, quartz, zircon, or maybe even colorless topaz? That's exactly why I created Gemology Journey for Beginners, available now on Amazon. It's a simple and practical guide designed for anyone who's just starting out, teaching how to identify, test, and distinguish gemstones using easy, affordable methods you can do yourself without expensive tools. And for subscribers of this channel, there's a special discount link in the video description. Of course, if this isn't the right time for you to get the book or join the channel membership, that's perfectly fine. You can still subscribe for free and follow along with the next videos, because in the next episode, we're going to explore even more valuable stones that might be hidden in your own region, just waiting for the right person to notice them. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. And as always, good luck, Gem Hunter.